This is a video on organization and layout for your cities. Most of it, to me, seems pretty self-explanatory, something you probably should realize right away, but given some of the cities I've seen over the last few months, it apparently is not so obvious to everyone. So I figured I'd make this and elaborate. Now, you've probably noticed from the start of the game that the one thing you're always fighting for is room. You only have so much room you can use, and you're always struggling for more room, more structures, more everything. So you really gotta be efficient in the way you lay out your city to make the most of that room. The one thing you don't want to do, really, is to have your roads circling around every single building, because it's just a waste. And it is something you'll see from a lot of people, though. Something else to remember, most culture buildings do not require roads to connect them. So if you have a space without roads or a road can't get to, it's a nice place to stick one. As for your actual buildings, your residences, your workshops, and all that, an efficient way of placing them is in, lines of 2. There's no need to have rows of 1, such as over here is technically, where you have a road, one building, another road, your next building. Technically, that is a bit inefficient. I could just as easily remove this entire stretch of road right here, move all of this up 1 square to where that road is, and then I would have an extra square of room to use down there. Now, alone, 1 square doesn't seem like much, but over the course of every building, it adds up. Also, when you're dealing with upgrades, sometimes that 1 square of room can be everything. So something like this, where you have a road, row of buildings, and then a road, it provides access to all your buildings with the minimum amount of roads. Not to say every city needs to be laid out and designed exactly as mine. You can do that however you please. It's just a tip for something to consider while you're doing this. There will be times, however, you can see like down here, normally I would not prefer such a layout right here where I have road structure. But, as you can see, I have no room here to build another road. So that square is the very end until I get the rest of these expansions. So you're stuck with maneuvering this however you can to make room for what you have and what you need. Now, technically, with this, I could switch where my manufactories here are and the road, so the road was on the back side, but the actual design here initially was to have all my steel factories followed by all my scroll factories, then the road, then my gems. But until I get expansions, I simply can't do that. So it was just a matter of trying to fit them all in. So it's just stuck like that for a little while. Another thing to mention, since you're always fighting for room, brings about the importance of upgrading structures. As you can see, it's something you have to do, and it's something you should really try and stay on top of if you have the gold and supplies. Now, usually the bonuses you'll get from each upgrade may seem small, but as like everything else, over time it really does add up. And sometimes you will gain a fairly substantial leap in an upgrade. For instance, this workshop is level 8. This workshop is level 9. If I click on my level 8, let's take my 1 hour production. It is 424 supplies, with the cultural bonus, of course. Whereas the level 9, only one level above, is 930 with the cultural bonus. So that's, over double. So every little bit will help, and then sometimes you get leaps like that, which help out tremendously. And it's a good way to save space. Although, you also have to keep in mind, as you can see, that level 8 workshop and that level 9 workshop, both different sizes. To upgrade, sometimes it increases in room. This is, what is that? 2 by 3. 2 over 3 that way. And it upgrades in one in each direction. So it becomes a little bit wider and a little bit longer. So it does take up more space, but at the same time it can save you space. But if you're at an end like that where you have no more room there, sometimes you can't upgrade. So it's a way of balancing out the room you have with the structures you have. But overall, it's still good to try and keep them as upgraded as you possibly can. It does help out and saves room later on for more things you're going to need. Of course, this is a city still early in the game and has not started with its guest races yet, which require its own little slab of room. But for starting players, it's a good tip to do this. I also mentioned in the neighborly help video that it's good to, I feel at least, having your builder's hut, your main hall, and your culture items relatively near each other. That way, when someone comes to give you neighborly help, they always zone in on the main hall, and they'll have everything right there at first glance. Main hall's there, builder's hut's there, culture's over there. In my case, my culture is lined up from highest culture to lower, given, not counting these are something different. Culture, but something different from the winter event. But how you organize things will directly affect, well, everything. The layout of your city, how much you can progress at once and whatnot. So take note, try and conserve space when you can while upgrading. It'll help you out later.